Sheep without a shepherd. What an image. I'm sure all of us in our life at some time have felt like you're all alone, not really sure where you're headed. Things are uneasy. So maybe we can relate to that. Jesus and Jeremiah offer us perspectives on sheep and shepherds. First, we hear Jeremiah rail against religious leaders who do everything but serve their flock, their sheep. We could call them anti-shepherds or anti-leaders. They ignore their people and leave them vulnerable to predators, or in our case, the world. That behavior scatters the sheep. The so-called leaders only care about their own comfort to the detriment of the lambs. Jesus focuses on the sheep, us. He saw the spiritual, hungry people, even though they really didn't know what they were seeking. That applies to our society and our culture today. People are seeking, and yet they fill the void they have with stuff. In Jesus' day, the sheep, their people, were left in the desert, seemingly alone. Jesus and Jeremiah are looking at two sides of the same coin. The sheep are vulnerable because the shepherds are indifferent. Instead of guiding and serving the flock, these shepherds display their rods and their staff as symbols of their own status and their self-seeking importance. They serve as a poor example of leadership, servant leadership. We are called to be servant leaders in this world by virtue of our baptism. Like Father Steve said last weekend, we became priests, prophets, and kings by virtue of our baptism. When we ignore our call, we leave the sheep, our fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, with a spiritual famine. Today's gospel tells us Jesus was moved to compassion when he saw how people were searching for him. Although our translation says pity, compassion is really a better word. It comes from the Greek, splunk nizomoi. Try to say that 3 times. But in Greek, that describes how a person is moved so deeply by something that you feel it in the pit of your stomach. The word suggests a strong response to human need. A person with such compassion feels like a mom with an injured child. She hurts more than the little one. Jesus saw the crowd as sheep without a shepherd. When we look outside ourselves and look around, do we see the same thing? Many sheep without a shepherd? Can we be servant leaders? Jews felt so deeply with the hungry people, Jesus did, that he had to respond to them. In contrast, their woeful shepherds, he helped them get in touch with what their hearts desired. Can we help others do the same? What did Jesus teach? He taught a living message about God's immeasurable love. What do our lives teach about God's immeasurable love? He recognized all as individuals, parts of a crowd that could become a community, unique and interrelated. Christ's preaching allowed each to feel that he was talking to him or her, and all the while drawing people closer together. Today we see many, many people who are like sheep without a shepherd. Some people don't seek a shepherd because they have quit on the meaning of their lives. Some are frozen in place because of an imaginary promise of a past that was safe and secure. What are we to do? It should be our desire in our time to acknowledge each person's dignity. We can contribute to the rebirth of servant leadership. Well, how do we do that? By our lives, who we truly become, not just what we say. By what we are becoming and allowing Christ to be visible to others. May they see him, not us. This is simple, but not easy. Can we learn to become those who embrace others? Yes, we can. Because in the depths of every heart, love creates bonds and expands existence. It draws people outside themselves and toward others. Let us become servants, leaders of those who are lost, seeking the best for their lives. Let's create an atmosphere of compassion, something that comes from the pit of our stomach. We can nudge the world toward embracing love and unity, one person at a time. Then the reality, the truth can be revealed that we are all one flock with one really good shepherd, our brother, Jesus Christ. May God give us the courage to live a life of love and compassion, to be there for others, to lead them to Christ and the glory of God. May God bless us all.